Hey everyone, it's John here, and I'm going to be making the case for the Avalanche to win the 2020 Stanley Cup. If you are a new subscriber, welcome. Please smash the like button and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. For the Avalanche, you're looking at the star power, fully healthy. That's why this team is going to benefit the most, or one of the most, in the league, because you're talking about McKinnon healthy, Rantanen coming back fully healthy, Landeskog, Kadri, Makar, all guys that have been injured this year, and you're looking at the guys that were there to fill those holes. Burakovsky, Nichushkin. You're looking at a guy like Nemestikov. I think the fact that you have now your core, your top six, and with those guys filling the holes, JT Compher as well, I would say, just have a lot of options. Your top nine is probably, if not the most, one of the most deep in the league. And then your defense group is growing still. I think what you saw from Ryan Graves this year is huge steps. And the Nova Scotia boys in Graves and McKinnon, and then you have Makar, Calder nominee, and a guy that is probably one of the best, if not the best, offensive guys, strictly offensive guys already in the Western Conference and maybe even the league. Like, he is that good. The amount of scoring chances he gets per game, the amount he creates, and then even a guy like Samuel Girard, who gets overlooked because of a guy like Makar and even the year that Graves had, and Eric Johnson, and then just a steady pair that hopefully can, I would say, translate into the playoffs. And Zadorov and Ian Cole, we've seen success from Cole in the playoffs, and Zadorov, obviously that physicality could be huge. And then the question mark, because Grubauer is your guy on the surface, but when Grubauer was down, Francouz actually had a stretch of games where he was playing really well, and that earned him a contract extension. So I think you look at that aspect as well. With guys like Matt Calvert, Matt Nieto, Belmar, and I didn't even talk about Donskoy yet, because Donskoy has been huge. He actually, in the exhibition game against the Wild, he scored right away. I think Donskoy is definitely an X factor for this team. One point I want to make in why this team could win, and I've talked about it for other teams, is their power play. I think it's being overlooked as well, because Rantanen, for me, is just an absolute power play specialist. I think the fact that you have Landeskog and Kadri making noise, and you have McKinnon, and we've seen McKinnon. Another one against the Wild, that goal, end to end. When you see McKinnon do that, you can talk about any of the superstars in the league, and we see McDavid do that in certain ways, but McKinnon has this way of just completely eluding defense and just absolutely just ripping a shot from anywhere in the offensive zone. He's so sneaky in that sense, and so fast. I think McKinnon is the guy. He's a Hart candidate this year. I think he would definitely deserve if he wins. And he's a guy that can carry a team. But as I've said, he doesn't necessarily have to carry it because there's just so much depth in this team. And even through the injuries, now that there's none, but through the injuries, he was still getting help somewhat from guys like Burakovsky, as I said, Nichushkin, Donskoy, guys like that, right? So I'm looking at that depth now, closing out a very solid top nine, because I think with the offense you saw from Burakovsky, and if he's playing with McKinnon and Rantanen, that's a very good top line. And then getting more of that shutdown pair potentially, I don't know, because Kadri can play that role on top of what Landeskog can do physically, and a guy like Nichushkin, who's very underrated and very solid defensively and has that body, has that frame. So I think the Avalanche as well, if you look at the other central contenders and look at the other Western contenders, whether it's the Stars, whether it's the Blues, whether it's the Oilers, the Avalanche will be able to play that matchup game well. They have the options, and maybe they don't have the best, I would say, up the middle. JT Compher's pretty underrated, pretty decent. But I think Kadri can hold his own. I think Kadri can hold his own as the number 2 guy, and hopefully maybe give him those harder matchups. Landeskog, Kadri, Nichushkin, all 3 guys that can play that physical defensive game. And if they focus on that, hopefully that top line for the Avalanche can get going. And then, as I've said, for the power play, that could be one of the best power plays in the playoffs. McKinnon, Landeskog, Rantanen, Kadri, and Makar. That's gross. That's ridiculous. And I think they have the pieces in for a good penalty kill. They have the pieces in for a good power play. Jared Bednar's been great, I think, since that really rough season for his first season. So I'm impressed with this Avalanche team as it is. They finished second in the Central with all of those injuries, and now they're coming in fully healthy. It's very comparable to the Penguins. Do we get a McKinnon-Crosby matchup maybe in the Stanley Cup final? But I think there's a real case here for the Avalanche, obviously for other teams too, but for this Avalanche team, they're one of the teams that you look at in the West and go, it's their cup, or at least their final appearance to lose, because there's no excuses. The only thing I'll say, and again, there's probably going to be options in the offseason is the goaltending. I think the goaltending for me is a real question mark. I think maybe some of the inexperience on the defense group, but I still think you saw what Makar did last year. Yes, you lost a guy like Tyson Barrie, but I think that's made up from a guy like Ryan Graves, who's been great, and Samuel Girard keeps getting better. Hopefully Eric Johnson can hold his own as well. And then, like I said, that shutdown, or whatever you want to call it, that more experienced blocking shots, hitting from Zadorov. But that goaltending for me is just one guy needs to step up, and hopefully it's Grubauer. But regardless, that's going to be, I would say, a big talking point for the Avalanche, because everywhere else I think they're great. I mean, we'll see what happens in the Seattle expansion draft, who they lose. But outside of that, they've got great depth. They've got great role players. I think they have guys that play different roles. Even that fourth line, you got a guy like Bellemare who has that experience. He was on the run with Vegas to the Cup Finals. So I like this team up and down their lineup. I love their defense group, even though you don't have, I would say, anyone that's fully established. But obviously Makar's getting there. Grace had a great year. Girard had a great year. Eric Johnson has been a top 4 defenseman for most of his career. So goaltending, we'll see what happens. But if Grubauer can step up, or one of those goaltenders can step up, I would expect this team to go far, and that's the case for why this Avalanche team could win the Stanley Cup. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you're new, smash that like button, and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll be streaming as I make this video tonight for the Bruins Blue Jackets game. I might be streaming later than that. We'll see how it goes. But again, I'll be streaming throughout the whole playoff. So if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed yet, please give me a shot. Consider subscribing to the channel. I want to keep getting better, keep improving this channel and just my delivery and all of that. So hope to see you around. This was John from RPO Hockey. Have a good one. Peace out.